Good morning, guys. Okay, so it is the morning of Monday, October 22nd, I believe. No, 21st. It's the morning of October 21st, and I am done with my Camino. I finished on Saturday the 19th, and today I'm headed to Finisterre and then to Machia. But as I'm packing, it's about 7:30 in the morning right now, I wanted to go ahead and film my gear review video. So pardon the low volume, it is still really early and there are other guests in the hotel, but there are some things I wanted to get rid of that I feel I don't necessarily need any longer, since I'm not going to be hiking and doing those kinds of things, and I'll be spending a lot of time in the cities. I'll probably head back to Madrid, and I'll have access to things that I might need along the way. So with that said, I'm just gonna jump around and kind of give you a, I'm not gonna say brief because I don't do brief. I'm gonna do a review on the gear that I brought for those of you that have been interested in what has worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, what I would take, what I wouldn't take, etc. Also, this is in no particular order. I have things strewn about me. When I came in to Santiago, everything was wet and rainy, and so I had things drying in the room with the heater on. So I'm just gonna kind of go around and try to do it as best as possible in a way that makes a little bit of sense, but it might be pretty random. Okay, starting off, my pack, my Gregory 35-liter Maven perfect bag. I couldn't ask for anything better. It fit me really well. The weight initially, you know, it takes its toll because you're just getting used to it, but by about the second week, like, I didn't really feel it any longer, including all the stuff that I had in there and just, you know, water and everything like that. But this is a great bag. Get me good support on my hips for my body. If you're buying a pack, make sure you get fitted and put some weights in there. Walk around with it and see how it feels, and that'll give you a good idea how that's going to work for you on the trail. I brought 3 pairs of shoes, the first being these, what do you call them, Chacos. These I got on clearance. They were excellent. These are cloud soles, and it's no toe loop, and these worked well for a couple days. I did actually wear them on the trail for a couple days, and with socks, and I found that they worked really well. But for the most part, I use this for like walking around afterwards in the towns every so often. But these work really well, and I've been using them here in Santiago, and these will be like my going out shoes and my regular shoes when I'm in the cities at this last part of my trip. My main pair of shoes were these Ultra Lone Peak 4.0s. These were amazing. No real blisters that I can speak to. I mean, I did have a couple blisters on my heels that basically like reabsorbed and like went away on their own. I did a little donut with moleskin and some tape over that, and like the next day it was basically gone on each heel. So I had one on each heel, and then towards the end, when it started getting rainy here in Galicia, I did get some blisters on one of my toes, but again, they just reabsorbed, and it was just because my skin was really, really wet and softened. So, and that's what happened there. But with regards to tread on these shoes, hold on, let me take the insoles out. I'll take the heel cups out because they'll fall out when I do these. So the tread on these, and I don't know if you can tell, but they have significantly worn out. But I made it to Santiago, 779 kilometers according to my distance certificate. Made it to Santiago, no problems. Again, I only used my Chacos maybe 2 or 3 days out of, I think, 38 days, something like that. They still worked well. Gravel over pavement. The last week we encountered rain and mud, and these still worked really well. I'm glad I have my poles, and I'll show those to you in a second, but I'm glad I have my poles to just help me steady in the mud. And there were some really windy days as well, but for the most part, these are great. The toe box is so wide that, again, there's no friction for me, and so I didn't really get any blisters, and these worked so well. And with regards to the fact that these are not waterproof, that worked just fine for me. Again, I mentioned we had basically perfect weather up until this last week, in which, you know, my feet got more soaked than usual, but they do dry out super fast. I just put a little bit of newspaper in there, and good to go. So I would highly, highly recommend these, but be forewarned, these are basically toast now. Like I said, the tread gone. I would say the inside, like, I don't know if you can see this with the light, but look at that. I started feeling a hot spot, like some hot spots in the back of my heel, and it's because, let me see if I can unlace this. Look at the inside of that. Worn, like worn through. So I don't know if it's just the way I walk. Also here along this part here where the laces go over, rubbed a lot, and I noticed that on the probably about the third week. And yeah, so the fabric on the inside, not so durable, and it could be because of the uphills. You know, when I go uphill, my heel would kind of rub up back here and wear this out a little bit faster. But you can, it's definitely down to the foam now, the foam padding, but just a little bit of tape on my heel to reduce the friction. Again, no blisters on the backs of my heel or anything like that. The part that most people complain about the Lone Peaks is this front part that usually gets detached. Mine are actually pretty intact. This one is like completely intact. So that wasn't a problem for me, hitting the front of the toe box. So it was just the heel, maybe it's a little bit of slippage. I didn't use gaiters, so I didn't have a chance to test the gaiter traps, but I would, I'm so sad that these are like toast. I'll probably buy another pair because I really like them. And these will probably be my go-to hiking shoes to replace my Merrell boots. These are really great shoes, I love them. The insoles worked perfectly. I'm not going to take them out because they're really nasty, but they're these Easy Feet insoles I just purchased from Amazon. I also purchased these heel seats. Again, check out my packing list video. You can see them in better condition because I don't want to show you. These are pretty nasty. But these worked fantastic. No heel pain, which was one of the main issues I was really, really concerned about. I was really concerned that my heel pain would become an issue and I wouldn't be able to continue. But no problems at all, but a combination of these heel seats and the Easy Feet insoles that I purchased off of Amazon. Last bit of footwear, these, what do you call them, Crocs sandals. Perfect shower shoes. They don't absorb any water. I wore these out mostly on the town after a day's walk, more than those because I already had these on from the shower and they're super comfortable and extremely lightweight. My poles I purchased in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in the little shop that's directly across from the Pilgrims office. Everybody was buying their gear from there. Each pole was sold separately. They were 18 euros each. I thought the convenience, well, I can't fly with my poles anyway, and I didn't want to check anything in, so that was the reason I purchased these. The brand has rubbed off, something like, I don't even know what they're called, but these are like the standard looking ones. I did make sure that I got the ones with a cork handle, and I'm glad I did because that's my go-to with some of the hot, sweaty days at the beginning. The cork handle really helped. Had a nice strap that was more or less kind of foam cushioned, and so that really helped with the comfort. I do have a great little strap tan from using them. But the other thing that I brought from home that indispensable were these tips. They're by Pacemaker. You've seen the tips have worn a little bit, but for the most part, the side bits, this here, let's see, because I'm wearing black, you can't really see it, but these highly recommend. Again, check out my packing list video if you want to see these. These little mud things came with the pole, and the guy put them on there, and I just didn't bother to take them off. But yeah, a lot of people had to replace their little ones a few times, and I will definitely replace mine when I get home. I have another pair because it's worn through in the middle, but these worked great in the mud and on the gravel and in the rocks, and just all purpose. They were fantastic. So I will be I'm taking these home. I'm gonna splurge and take them home this time, and I'm gonna check a bag with souvenirs and stuff, because these helped me through Spain, and I cannot even fathom getting rid of them at this point. To my toiletries, because this is the bag I wanna kind of dump. By the way, I purchased a set of these dry bags from Walmart. They're by Outdoor Products. I didn't mention them in my packing list video, but that's what I got, 3 different sizes, and these worked perfectly fine. My leave-in conditioner, it's just basically the conditioner that you get from the box dye. I brought one of these. There's still some in here. Love it, keeping it. I brought the Vicks in lieu of Vaseline to be used for lubricating your feet to help with blister prevention. I used this maybe a few times, and I am debating whether or not to keep this or not. It's actually quite weighty, and I don't think I need it, so this is in the maybe pile. But I would recommend, you know, taking some Vicks or Vaseline. I also put this on my feet on the rainy days just to help as kind of like a waterproof barrier, because it's petroleum jelly, to help my feet not absorb the water as quickly. So this works really good. This, I'm so happy and so pleased that I brought this in. This was a parting gift from my job, from my boss, when I left my job, and it's just a Lush charity pot. This is all gone. Like I tried to use like every little bit. I'm gonna use the rest of this as before I toss this, but this container is going away. It's the charity pot again. I used it on my body, on my feet. After each day of a long day of walking, I would massage my feet with this lotion. It was fantastic. So yes, the cheap shampoo bar, like the Lush dupe I used from Walmart, amazing, really good, worked really well. I still have some left, 38 days and counting, and it comes in its own tin, so good job. The S hook, yes, bring one. I thought, oh, so silly. It's actually quite heavy, but you can find cheaper ones, but definitely bring an S hook, because I used it for sure. This bug spray I'm getting rid of. I never used it, so this is going. There were some bugs on the trail, but not like I didn't count on having bugs on the trail. Like, oh, today they're gonna be bugs. I'm gonna spray myself. I didn't need this, so this is going. Toothbrush and toothpaste. I already got rid of the toothpaste and have been using the one that they provided at the hotel, but obviously bring a toothbrush. The antibiotic cream, I didn't use it, but a friend of mine did, so I'm glad I brought that. I brought 2 of these salves, CBD salves that my mom threw in because she sells this stuff. I used it a couple times on some spots where I thought, like hot spots and things like that, and where I had some pain, and I think it worked okay, but I'm not really sure, so I'm just gonna keep these as they're small. And what else? Okay, so that's it for my toiletries bag. I'm going to be bringing these from the hotel, so replacing the bug spray with this. My cosmetics bag, I would say if you want to bring makeup, go for it, bring makeup. It made me feel good. I felt like more put together in the mornings, and I didn't use it every day, like you'll see in my videos, but I didn't use them every day. But on the days that I felt like it, for sure. I have my little brush, worked perfectly. This is now gone. This is my eyebrow pencil and spoolie that I used for my eyebrows, and my eyelid, what do you call them? Tight line every so often. This is amazing. I still have a ton. My Bite Agave lip, whatever you call it, lipstick, yes. I didn't use this Stila thing, so that's going. It's basically concealer, and then my NARS blush I used as kind of like a little color in my eyes sometimes if I felt like it, and it has a mirror inside, so I'm keeping that. I forgot in my shower kit, toiletries kit, I did have a razor, and I used this maybe like twice. My sunglasses broke. but I can fix this when I get home. I kept the screw, so I've just been carrying it around. I feel you actually do. It would be good to have a pair. I just I never got around to buying another pair, and I did okay because I had my hat with like a little bit of non-glare, and I'll show you that. Tilly Airflow 6, I think it's what it's called. The Airflow hat, amazing hat. It was perfect. Perfect. It's darker color underneath, so it helps with the glare coming up. What I would do, and if you watch any of my vlogs, you'll see sometimes I would put my hair up in a bun, and then so it's a little bit higher. It looks silly, but it really allowed the air to flow through the vents at the top. So highly recommend this hat. Very pricey, totally worth it, and has lasted. It looks amazing still. It was crushed in the back of, in the front of my pack. It's, you know, crushable, and love it. Socks, I use these Darn Tough socks. I had 2 pairs of them, and these were great because of the heel rubbing in my shoe. They did start to wear a little thinner on one pair of these, but Darn Tough is great. They have a great lifetime warranty, so if they ever, you know, have a hole in them, I can get them replaced. I had one additional pair of Smart Wool socks, wool as well, obviously, that I somehow lost along the way in the last week. Yeah, I think the last week. I don't know what happened to them, but I still have 2 pairs of these. The Smart Wool ones work just fine as well, but they were shorter, and so my ankles would get a little bit cold, but these were great. I could pull these up over my leggings, keep my ankles warm in the mornings. Underwear, I have 2 of these bras. I'm wearing one now, a black one, and then this is just a Reebok one. I got these like a 2-pack from Marshall's, and these worked perfectly fine. They are sports bras. I know when you get sweaty at the end of the day, sometimes they're hard to take on and off, but these work just fine. I had brought 3 pairs of underwear. One was an ex officio mesh. The other one was a wool one. Check out my packing list video. And then I brought one like Victoria's Secret thong. I don't know what happened to that. I lost that I never wore it. I lost it at the very beginning, and then somewhere along the middle I lost my my mesh ex officio ones, which were my favorite ones. So I was down to 1 pair of underwear, and to be honest, okay, maybe it's TMI, but with my leggings I don't wear underwear, and it's not a huge deal. So 1 pair of underwear is just fine, and I wear them with my other hiking pants. The Turbie Twist worked perfectly. It's, you know, it is small in size, but it dried perfectly, absorbs all the water, and then I threw my hair up in this. So it's a great towel. So this is an alternative if you don't want to take a microfiber, like a regular microfiber towel, which this is basically a microfiber towel, but it works well putting my hair up. Probably one of my most asked questions is, how did the sleeping bag liner and the down comforter work? And I'm here to tell you it worked perfectly. I wouldn't do it any other way. There were some nights at the very beginning that were so hot. I couldn't even stand to really be in this. This one has, this is my sleeping bag liner. It's actually a silk and cotton, so it's not 100% silk. But it does have zippers along both sides, so regardless of like which albergue I was in, I could like get in and out of bed on either side, depending on how my bed was situated. And then it also has this, you know, the little pocket for the pillow, so I would stick my pillow on one inside that to keep it nice and secure so this thing doesn't fall off. On each night, I would put my down comforter blanket that I got from Costco. I didn't get it from Costco, I got it free, but it's from Costco. It is down. The feathers do come out, but it's like 20 bucks. So this I would stick in the liner each night or each day at the end of the day. And then if I got hot, I would just like take the cover off of my legs and then just sort of air out as I needed to. But on cold nights, you just pull it up, and it really, really insulated me very well. Even on the very cold nights. A few nights ago, I was in, I was in O Pedruso, and I was right by I was in a corner situation where I had like big windows on this side and then big windows by my feet. Super cold because it was raining all night, all day, and kept me warm. kept me warm, but not too hot. So there was perfect, I felt perfect temperature control with this particular system, so highly recommend a silk / cotton liner with the down comforter. And it comes very easy to stuff. Let me show you. I just stuff this in here. This way. Okay. So that's the down comforter. And that's just supposed to be for the down comforter, but I would manage to stick this in there too. There you have it. I forgot to mention that I did treat my sleeping bag liner with permethrin and I didn't have any problems with bed bugs. So I don't know if that's because of permethrin or, but permethrin is not a preventative. It is to basically kill the bugs. So yeah. Also, one thing to note, I did use my pack cover during this last week on my back, and while it does work for the most part for waterproof, it's not perfect. So it's not impenetrable, but so I did stick my sleeping bag liner and stuff in plastic so it wouldn't get wet, since this was at the bottom of my bag. The rest of my gear, so I'm wearing, this is my Smart Wool half zip hoodie. Perfect, loved it, love it. And it works really, really well. I've been wearing it a lot, especially now that it's cooler and I layer this. On the cold days, I've been wearing this, and then I wear just my Arc'teryx jacket. So this jacket is a rain jacket. It is a pricey jacket. I forgot I don't know which model this is again, but it worked really well, I would say, for the most part. It's lightweight, it's thin, and doesn't take a lot of space. However, it's just that 2-layer Gore-Tex pack light, and I think maybe it might be worth it to have the full 3 layers, which might be a little bit heavier on the torrential downpour days. That only happened this last week. It was manageable, like I said, but putting it back on, it was really cold, and it would really it would get absorbed into here, and I'm not exactly sure. I couldn't tell if it was sweat or rain that got through here, but for the most part, it kept me warm and mostly dry. So just like this, and the hood is really, really well designed. Okay, it's got a little brim on it. I didn't need a baseball cap. I didn't need anything like that. Kept the rain off of my face as I was walking, and there were some very, very windy days where the wind would be like sideways. This was perfect. Didn't impede visibility at all. I did have a headlamp as well, and you just kind of find the perfect spot for it, and you can accommodate both the headlamp and the brim. You can also adjust here, so for comfort and also for the size of your head. So I do recommend this jacket. I think this will work well for me overall as a jacket for me back home in LA, because it's lightweight and is good for the kind of rainy weather that we have over there. So what else about this jacket? Yeah, it was perfect jacket. My on the town dress, I love this thing. It worked really well. The colder it got, I went out and bought a pair of footless tights, basically from like a little cheapy shop in one of the towns. The other 2 things I purchased, just because it was getting colder, I purchased, and this was kind of a luxury item, the cheap fuzzy socks. I got these. Where was I? I don't remember anymore, but I picked up a pair of these, and I think they're worth their weight. Again, I did lose a pair of socks, and so I guess I just replaced them with this, but this was nice at the end of a cold, damp day, and you just want to relax in your bunk bed. So the other thing I picked up, and this has been indispensable, is a thicker fleece full zip jacket. So if you have one to start out with, which I did and I didn't bring, but again, it's nice to have the fleece because on a cold day, it just, that soft feeling for me, I really enjoy it. So again, this is just a full zip, worked really well. And it fits under my jacket as well. So this down vest, I wore a little bit, and it's been very handy to keep me warm in the core and give me a little bit of breathing room here for those like days that were not as chilly as they are now, but not so hot that I couldn't wear this for insulation. This is from Costco. It was like 15 bucks. My hiking pants. So these are the REI ones that I thrifted. These worked really well. My hemming job, however, with the stitch witchery has like started to unravel, but I don't care. It was towards the end of my trip. And these actually work to repel water a bit on the rainy days, and I preferred these on the rainy days because these would dry really quickly. They are probably a size or two too big now, but I will, should I toss them? No, I think I'll keep them for now just in case I need an extra pair of pants. This fleece, Columbia, this was a kind of a lighter weight fleece. It smelled at the end of the day, which I wasn't a huge fan of because of the synthetic, but it worked for layering, and I would take something like this. It's a quarter zip. I would take this again. I used almost like essentially everything I brought at least once, if not twice, and multiple times. So I feel like I brought the perfect amount of stuff and the right kinds of things. I did supplement towards the end when the weather was cooler in larger towns where I could get some things. I maybe could have taken my Nano Puff jacket instead of buying that fleece, but you know, it worked out. The fleece was 16 euros, and it's worked really well for me. So the other thing I bought, and that you've probably seen in all my vlogs, is this scarf. It's been perfect. I'm so glad I decided to take this. I was thinking I was not going to take it because a buff would be just fine, but I'm so glad I took this because it really could insulate, and it is a silk wool combo. I made the mistake of having my stuff laundered and they threw it in the dryer, so it shrank a bit, and it's not as thin and lightweight, or it's still lightweight, but it's not as thin and flowy and as huge as it used to be, but it still provided the extra warmth up near my neck, especially when you're trying to cut the chill from like a windy day. Speaking of buffs, I purchased a new one. This is my Camino one. It has all the different Camino routes on there and some landmark buildings. So this is a nice little souvenir. This is a different kind of material. It's like a cool max kind of thing. So it's a little slinkier. My other buff, I don't know where it is, but it's more of a cotton material. And I didn't use that one as much. I used it at the beginning before I got this one. And I also used the buff as padding for my crossbody because it was rubbing up against me because I didn't have it perfectly sized right on my shoulder. For the buckle, I was rubbing against the buckle. This Columbia full zip, yes, love it. Worked really well on the hotter days, on the first half. Oh, here, these are my icebreakers. Yeah, one pair of underwear worked just fine. I bought a pair of boxer shorts from a cheapie, again, another cheapie store, just to have in the evenings when it was hot, because I didn't want to wear my leggings, they were too hot. So this I wore a lot on the warmer days, the first half, so it's just Under Armour dry fit. Oh, here's my other buff. So this is like the cotton material. And then this Columbia sun shirt, perfect on the hotter days. So is that all my clothes? I think for the most part that's all of my clothes. I used everything. So because I was traveling from September through the end of October, I found that I brought the perfect amount of things and the kinds of things to take me from hot weather to the cold weather that we're having now. And suffice it to say that it's not cold here. I mean, it's not freezing temperatures. It's not snow flurries and things like that, but it's chilly in the morning and it's chilly in the afternoon, and it does get a little bit windy and sometimes it rains. So for what I have, layering has worked amazingly well, and I would recommend that if you're kind of traveling in this time period. My laundry detergent sheets worked perfectly well. I did do my luxury thing, besides like the little tiny bag of makeup, was getting my laundry washed and dried more often than not. So while I did hand wash some of the time, I did either split laundry with people just to make it easier and just faster to pack, especially this last week because there was like no sun and it was wet and rainy. Like you just had to throw your clothes in the dryer. So that was a splurge, but these worked really well. I would say probably one of the only things I did not use was my Daypack, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm not getting rid of this, and I didn't want to get rid of it because I really like this Daypack. A lot of people, you can forward your bag ahead and take a bag with you and just carry a lighter load, but I carried my full pack with me the entire way and it didn't bother me, especially towards the end. It really just felt like it was part of me, like part of my body. Like, yeah, it's really a pretty good feeling. But this was worth the wait. It is a heavier Daypack, but I will be using this at home. All my medications. I did go through the little pre-bundled pack of medicines like ibuprofen, acetaminophen, etc. The only thing I didn't use was the anti-diarrhea and like the allergy medication, but I was also sort of like a dispensary for people. I did buy some extra ibuprofen because I thought I would need it at the beginning, and I only had two little packets of that, and I ended up distributing to people that needed some ibuprofen and there was no pharmacy nearby, or they just needed it right away. So I was happy to do that. The only thing, and the other thing that I didn't really use as much was the arnica. I used the arnica maybe like a handful of times, and it worked really well, I would say, for like achy, sore muscles towards the beginning. But I carried 3 bottles of this. I gave 1 bottle to a woman that was in excruciating pain, so I hope she was able to use that in Ponferrada. And then the other bottle I gave to a gentleman, I don't remember where now, but he was running out of his arnica, and so I gave him mine because I didn't really need it, and I just have 1 extra one, so I can use that at home. What's the other thing I bought? What is this? Oh, Jet Zone. I might have to remember to take that later. Oh, and then the zinc, what do you call them? Like the Noon tablets, but a different brand. I didn't actually use these, so maybe I've been carrying them with me. I can use them at home. But yeah, there's electrolytes you can get on the trail. I've been drinking Aquarius and I've been eating a lot of food, so getting the right minerals is not a problem if you're eating a balanced diet consisting of French fries and etc. But yeah, not a problem. You'll get your nutrients somehow, and I didn't really need to bring this. I did buy an umbrella here in Santiago because it's been raining, and actually was quite useful, but you don't have to bring this from the very start. This is just something that I picked up because I was done with my Camino, and it was very convenient to have just walking around the city. It was €9. My crossbody bag worked really well. It, I think, was a good size for me to carry the tripod, which I'm using here, so I'm not going to show you that in the video, but go to my packing list video and you'll see it there. And yeah, so this crossbody bag worked really well for me. Towards the end of it, I just went ahead and stuck it in my pack. Didn't even feel it in my pack. Granted, I have been carrying this weight just in a different part of my, center of gravity. But yeah, this worked really well. Let's see if there's anything in here. Oh, my husband's beanie, indispensable this last part of the trip. In the mornings, really, really good. About like 15-20 minutes into it, even on a rainy day though, I had to take it off because it was nice and warm and sweaty in there. So, but a good thing to bring to start your cool mornings off. Picked up this wallet. It was perfect to use. I got it at one of those little cheapy marts. Okay, so apparently I didn't lose my pair of smart wool socks. They were stuck in my stuff sack at the front of my bag. But yeah, these were pretty good. Okay, diving into my pockets here. My jerry-rigged water bottle holder broke at the beginning, So my friend gave me hers to use because she wasn't using it, and it's just one of these. I think the brand is MEC, and I don't know if it's Canadian, but anyway, this is kind of thing, and it has a rubber like thing here. I am going to toss this because, well, should I toss it? Yeah, I'm gonna toss this. I don't think I need it any longer, but I am keeping this just so I can keep it as a souvenir. So keeping that. My whistle, luckily did not have to use it, and hopefully won't have to use it, but it's still in my backpack. Into the tiny zipper. My gloves, I used these for wind, and then also on some rainy days, I would stick my hands in there just because like the chill of the rain really was making my hands numb, so these were great. Trash. My head net, I did not use this. But I could have. There was a day where I definitely could have done that. Earplugs. So I never use the silicone earplugs. I really much prefer the softer MAC ones that I had. So these guys here, I was down to like one of these guys, so I ended up buying another pair of just the soft foam earplugs, and these worked best for me. I also did buy a pack of batteries to replace the ones in my headlamp because I didn't want it to go too dim on me while I was starting early mornings. My binder clip solution for laundry worked really well. Very secure, keeping your laundry on the lines, especially on the last days where it was so windy and things were flying up in the air everywhere. I picked up some cough drops because I had a cough. My first aid kind of blister, whatever, all-purpose pack. I didn't use my ace bandage, but my friend did, so I'm glad I brought that. The other thing I didn't use, but she did, was my other knee brace. So even though I carried the weight, I thought it was well worth it because she used them at a time where she wasn't able to get to a pharmacy to get her knee braces, so she used these for a few days, and I'm glad I had those for her to use. Headlamp, gotta have it, especially if you're traveling in the fall and you don't want to wait until later in the day. Sunrise now is like 9, it's like 9 a.m. So if you're traveling the later in the year you're traveling, and if you want to get out a little bit early so you don't get into the albergues at like 4 and 5 o'clock, I mean, that's fine for some people, but I really don't. I really like to get into the albergues a little bit earlier. But yeah, mine doesn't have a red lamp or a red light, and that's fine. Again, indispensable. These worked on AAA batteries, and so I bought new ones. These little baskets came with my trekking poles. I really don't need them. I think I'm just gonna toss them. Feminine deals that I picked up at the pharmacy. Antibacterial, used it on the trail. More cough lozenges. Oh, I put my sunglasses in these and they didn't really help. So I think I'm actually gonna just toss that. Power bank. This worked really well. This is a Mercury brand. I use this every night. I also have my iPhone cord, and then don't want to forget this. This was just a little dual USB, and the adapter for here. This is what it looks like. Okay, so that's what you want. And then rest in pieces, my beautiful Ola Clip wide angle, super wide angle lens. So sad. I'm so sad I didn't have it for Santiago, but you know what? The memories are in my heart and in my mind, but this worked amazingly well up until I kicked the tripod and killed my lens, but that's what it looks like now. Oh. I actually am thinking about getting another one because this is just a great attachment to have for your phone. The good thing is the clip still works fine, so I'm gonna keep that. Oh, so sad. I'm just glad it died on the Dragonte because that was just like such an epic adventure, and so good memories with this guy right here. I realized I jumped from my first aid to other random bits. I did use these for cutting tape. So I bought some K-tape, kinesiology tape for my ankle to help with that. And this pharmacy, I got at this pharmacy and it worked wonderfully well. This is the Hampton black tape stuff. I'm getting rid of this. The adhesive just doesn't work that well and it's pretty weighty. Should have gotten rid of it a long time ago, but I thought it would help with hot spots. But I actually use this for hot spots as well. You still see I have a ton of it left. Tweezers I did use. Moleskin, which I never really use, I ended up using. So what I would do for a blister is cut a little, you know, however big the blister is, round out the corners, make a little hole in the center to surround the blister, and then the little raised surface from the moleskin will create a cushion around the blister, put a little tape over that just to protect it, and like I said, they just reabsorbed back into my body. And I didn't have any problems with blisters. I think maybe I was just lucky. A travel sewing kit, I never used it. I did share a needle, that sounds bad. I did give a needle to a girl who had a blister and wanted to pop it. So this is some of the ibuprofen that I bought from Spain. And then the rest is just gauze and stuff like that. Oh, and my nail clippers, I did use my nail clippers. Make sure you trim your toenails, and if you trim them straight across so you don't get ingrown nails. Okay, and I think the last thing, maybe, is this fan. I actually used it. I did. I used it in the car when we were in Sept. It was very hot, and then I also used it one day as I was walking, but not for very long. And it's a nice little, just cheapy little thing. So if you want to bring it, great. But I found I was walking with my poles. You can't really walk with your poles and use a fan. But it's nice to have, and I'm just going to carry it back, I think, with me, since this was a souvenir from the Philippines, even though it's a nice little cheapy one, but I like the color. Blue's my color. So I think that's it for my gear review. I'm gonna get everything packed up and make sure I don't forget anything, and if I do, I'll add it here at this portion of the video. So I did actually want to share with you a couple things that I have been carrying with me that mean a lot, obviously. My Credenciales, these are the passports, the pilgrim passports that I've been carrying to prove that I have been walking along the way. And in order to get your Compostela, which is the basically that certificate at the end, you need to prove to them that you've walked at least the last 100 kilometers to Santiago. And more rules on their website, so I won't go into them here. If you have any questions and want to know, I'm happy to do a separate video, so please let me know down below if you have any questions, and I'm happy to address them. So this is the first one I got in Saint-Jean, and let's see, I got both sides filled. So these are all the places I stayed, all the places that I ate. Get a stamp there, and then filled up the back side as well. Really, really good memories. And I found in Ponferrada that I wasn't going to have enough, so I got a second credencial, and I got this one from the Basilica in Ponferrada. And this is what this one looks like. And then my last stamp is the stamp from the Pilgrims office here in Santiago. So really, really good memories, and I'm gonna look over this and start crying again. But this I'm gonna keep on my body. I'm still gonna carry my crossbody bag now that I'm not like hiking. So I'm gonna keep this close to me and not in my pack in case I leave my pack someplace. But yeah, this is gonna be on my body at all times. My reading glasses, my readers, I did use these. Oh, I bought the USB flash for my phone, for my iPhone. I think I used this once. I've basically just been using my phone, and it's fine. I have enough space on there. My book of intentions, I used this, and I lifted up all your prayers. So thank you to everybody who sent them to me. I started my day in prayer, and I would think of each one on each day. And when I got up to Cruz de Ferro, I lifted them up again, laid all the burdens down, and my stone as well. That's what I don't have with me. I don't have my stone anymore. So that's a good thing. My rosary. So I did carry this with me and I used it maybe like once or twice, but really as I was walking, I would just, with my poles, I would kind of just keep track on my fingers when I was doing the rosary. Oh, and then we've got the Air C-band, so I do use this when I travel. Got the other one here. I did pick up a souvenir from the little blacksmith before before the wine fountain, and it looks like this here. It's the scallop shell with a cross. That also is a pata de oca, which is like the duck print in Ayagi. So I have that little souvenir. Okay, and I thought I'd just turn this around to show you the tripod. So this is the tripod that I've been carrying around with me. Indispensable along with the tripod mount phone, smartphone mount on here. See, it has a ball head. It's fantastic. It is quite sturdy and no negative space. It's so perfect and compact, very easy to slip into my little bag, and I really enjoyed using this. It is weighty enough so it doesn't blow over in the wind, although strong gusts of wind, definitely need to want to make sure that, you know, especially if you have your phone on there, that it's not going to blow over and smash. And that you don't trip over it and break your Olo clip lens like I did. Okay, so that's been my gear review video. I apologize for the way it's been so casually shot here in this hotel room, but this is the stuff that I've been carrying around with me, and it's worked amazingly well. Again, just to reiterate that I feel like I brought the perfect amount of stuff for me and my needs and my comfort, and everything's worked really well, very efficiently. I started to get into a groove, into a system. Everything has its place in my pack. So it's worked really well. Weight has been distributed very evenly, I feel, for my frame. For reference, I'm 5 feet tall, and when I left, I was about 134, I think, something like that. I think I've lost a little bit of weight now, but that's not gonna be sustainable once I get home, because I am not walking 15 to 20 miles a day once I get home. At least I don't think I will. So that's been my gear review video. If you found it useful, please give this video a thumbs up so other people can find it. Again, I'll link up above in a card the packing list video, or I'll link it down below. So thank you so much for your support. Any questions, leave them down below. I'm happy to answer them. Send me a message, whatever you want to do. Happy to address any questions. And if you want me to do a separate video about any of the products in particular, I'm happy to do that as well. I'm signing off because I gotta go running, grab breakfast and catch a bus. So I will see you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.